All right. Let's see if I remember how to do this. What's going on, everybody? It's been a while since I talked about the Packers, and in some cases, I really do miss it, and then there are a lot of cases where I don't. And that's because it gets exhausting talking about the same thing, repeating yourself. But let's do it anyway. So the Green Bay Packers unfortunately lost their second straight game at home, falling to the Philadelphia Eagles 10-7 with quite possibly the worst offensive showing under Matt LaFleur. The Packers have not been playing good football the last couple of weeks, and at this point, reality has definitely set in. And reality is that they're just not a very good football team. I know I sounded extremely negative and pessimistic in my last video, but I was just speaking from I was just pretty much speaking from my heart. I said that this team was not very good, and I saw nothing that made me believe that they were a Super Bowl contending team. And I hate to be the one to be say, oh, I was right or anything like that, because I didn't want to be. I wanted to be wrong. I wanted this offense to improve and show that no, it's just they're just trying to find their way, and they're going to get together eventually as the season goes on. But I've seen absolutely nothing, and unfortunately for the Green Bay Packers, playing terrible on offense has cost them the last two games. That's the unfortunate. And now with this loss to the Eagles, we're now 7th seed in the NFC, which makes losing those games to the Panthers and the Browns sting a lot more, because at the end of the day, those are games that you shouldn't have lost. Losing to a really good football team like the Eagles is one thing, but those other losses are just inexcusable. And that's why they are where they are right now. So at the end of the day, I said they deserved to lose that game against the Browns, and they did. When you come out playing like that, when you keep coming out every week just looking like you don't practice, and you got a head coach that just, for some reason, just cannot get this team together, cannot get them ready for football games, cannot go out there, figure out a game plan, and execute it, and just go out there and punch the opponent in the mouth and tell them, like, listen, that we're going to come out here, this is what we're going to do. I don't care what you're doing defensively. But right now, Matt LaFleur he's in a space where if what he originally wants to do isn't working, he's got no answer. He has no answer. When he's just backed into a wall where the opposing team is running a specific defense to stop whatever it is they were game plan on trying to do, he has no answer. He can't respond. And it's like you're a head coach, but you come out there and you just can't figure out what to do to get around teams playing you like this. So at the end of the day, don't be too shocked by how the Packers look right now, because the signs were already there. They were there since week one. This offense hasn't been exciting to watch since probably our playoff run at 2023. If I'm being very honest with you, if I'm just being very honest, that's how long, in my opinion, the Packers offense has not looked exciting to watch. The last time they were exciting to watch was the second half of the 23 season. We made our push all the way till the unfortunate loss to the 49ers in the division round. That was the last time I was, happy to watch the offense, to a degree. But the entire 2024 season, and especially now this season, I just see nothing. They might have sprints here and there, but overall the offense has just not been playing very well. It's just stale and it's boring. I understand that right now the injuries are derailing the offense. J.D. Reed went down very early in the season with a broken collarbone. Christian Watson just got back from his ACL tear. Tucker Kraft goes down with an ACL tear. He's done for the season. And with Tucker Kraft going down, our scapegoat pretty much is what went with it. Because when you look at how poorly the offense has been playing, a guy like Tucker Kraft was the one guy where you would just dump the ball out to him to get you out of that pickle. Whenever you see the offense is just going into his usual slumps, Joe Love would then eventually find Tucker Kraft, and he'll just make something in an open space and window. But he's gone now. He's gone, and you got to figure out a better way to move the football. And it's not going to get any better, especially when you got an offensive line that's been struggling all season. And now your starting center, Elton Jenkins, just got hurt. So, again, the team is a mess. Right now, we can't run the ball. The run blocking sucks. Jordan Love himself hasn't really progressed in the way that he should be at this point. I mean, that game against the Eagles, against Monday Night Football, in front of thousands of people, who showed just how poorly coached the Packers are, and that's ultimately what it comes down to, and that's just poor coaching. There's a reason why I had to put Matt LaFleur on the spot at the beginning of the video. But it's not but it's not just him. Jordan Love did not play well. He was sacked 3 times. He was under pressure a lot. He fumbled the ball, and he only threw the ball. He only threw for 176 yards, no touchdowns, only 4.9 yards per pass. I mean, you can just tell that there is a lack of trust, especially with Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur. And you're sitting here, you're trying to figure out why exactly Matt is game planning the way he is. Is it just simply he doesn't trust the offensive line, which I can understand, or he doesn't trust the offensive line, or Jordan Love? Maybe it's both. But I will argue that the offense moves better when he takes the handcuffs off Jordan Love and just lets him let it rip. When you really think about it, our best offensive showings have been when Matt LaFleur takes the handcuffs over Jordan Love. And you can argue that at the end of the day that Matt is the one that's holding Jordan Love back and keeping him from progressing into an even more better quarterback. Because it's not like the Packers are out there just playing without talent. There's talent all over this football team. But you need your coaches to put these guys in the best positions to succeed. And when we're just out there having talent on the football field and not using them correctly. Why did they even bother to draft Matthew Golden in the first round if you weren't going to use him? Maybe he went down with a shoulder injury, so he couldn't play this past Monday night. But for the first 9 games of the season, you weren't using him. You would target him a couple times and then don't go back to him for the rest of the game. It made no sense. Tucker Kraft, as I said, he went down with an ACL tear, but a lot of times we would go stretches without even targeting him. It shouldn't be a hard process to know and understand who your best playmakers are and these are the guys that you need to be getting the ball to majority of the time. I understand wanting to establish the run with Josh Jacobs. It's Josh Jacobs. I get it. But we gotta also be feeding these other guys on offense so that we can sustain drives and put up points. When you had a guy like Tucker Kraft, you need to be targeting him a bunch of times throughout the game. When you got a talented first-round receiver like Matthew Golden, when he's out there, you need to be giving him his plenty of targets. Christian Watson, giving him his targets, obviously. Instead, most of the time, you just have Jordan Love just out there staring down Romeo Doubs and just letting it rip to him. And I'm not trying to attack Romeo Doubs, but again, it just goes back to that predictable play calling. And a lot of times just forcing it to Dobbs even when he's not really even when he's in tight coverage, especially against the Eagles this past Monday. So because the offensive line wasn't doing a very good job protecting Jordan Love, the pressure was definitely getting to him. He wasn't going through his reads. He was missing guys open, and the few times where he wasn't looking at Romeo Doubs, he actually missed him a few times coming open. Missed Christian Watson a few times. Dante Wicks, he's a guy who has just been completely forgotten about in this offense. And I don't know why, but he's just another guy who has talent that we just don't use. So when you talk about what's so wrong with this offense, again, we're not using the talent that we have. We're not using the talent that we have, and we're just a poorly coached football team. And I've been saying that for years now. I can't count on my finger how many times I called out how badly coached the Packers are. I mean, how many times do these guys have to go out there and shoot themselves in the foot by moving the ball, and then all of a sudden the drive stalls because of a pre-snap penalty? I mean, that flag for the illegal shift was just inexcusable. A bunch formation that leads to a nice play action deep shot to Watson is neutralized because we can't line up correctly. That's pathetic. I mean, how many times we got to watch Josh Jacobs run into a wall of defenders because he's always trying to make someone miss behind the line of scrimmage? Or how many times will Matt LaFleur call a jet sweep or run a run play out of shotgun formation? It's just all boring, predictable play calling, and that's why you lost 2 straight home games. I mean, when you got the opposing team calling out the play as you're lining up with the game on line, and you know you got to have it, and Jordan Love doesn't audible, Matt doesn't call a timeout, nothing. You got the opposing team calling out the play. They know what the play that you're going to run. They know that you're going to try to run this ball out of shotgun, and you still do it anyway, and you get stuffed. That's just pathetic. There's no other word to describe it. That's absolutely pathetic. And I'm glad it happened on Monday Night Football, because now the rest of the world really just sees and understands how poorly coached the Packers are, how bad this offense is. And if the offense continues to perform like this, you can forget about any type of playoff run. Hell, you might as well just say we probably won't even make the playoffs entirely. Holding a team like the Eagles to only 10 points and you still lose. It doesn't matter that we got injuries. Scoring only 7 points at home is pathetic. Even before the injuries, again, the offense wasn't really putting up any points that many points the first half still. Because week after week, all the offense does is come out there slow, trying to force a run game that isn't there, and then the next thing you know, we're in some 3rd and long situation, can't convert, and got to punt the ball right back to the opposing team. That's our offense in a nutshell. So, as far as I'm concerned, Matt LaFleur, he's for the rest of this season, he's gonna be coaching for his job, because he's got to figure it out. If he's got to be the one that figures it out. At some point, he needs to get his head out of his ass and realize that continually trying to be a run-first offense isn't working, because you don't have the offensive line to do it. You just don't. And it's obvious that you don't trust the offensive line, and I get that it shrinks the playbook because of that. But at the end of the day, your best chance at succeeding right now is putting the ball in Jordan Love's hands. That's your best way of succeeding. Because you continue to game playing like this, Jordan Love is not going to progress. He's not. You continue calling games like this, all you're going to do is hold him back. Our best offensive showcases have been when Jordan Love has been able to anchor the offense. Before Josh Jacobs scored that touchdown, our only touchdown, Jordan Love was letting it rip. He was starting to get his groove. It was obviously too little, too late. But when you see when Jordan Love was able to get into a rhythm, obviously, he's able to get into a rhythm, run a more tempo offense. The offense finds success. And that's just what you got to do from this point forward. You can't keep coming out here trying to force a run game that isn't working. I understand it's Josh Jacobs, but he's got nowhere to go. So use him in different ways. Use him and obviously as a wide receiver coming out of the backfield. There's other ways to get Josh Jacobs the ball. That's just the truth, man. Matt's got to figure it out, man. Matt's got to figure it out, and if he can't, then he's got to go. At the end of this season, if he can't figure it out, he's got to go. Because at the end of the day, he's running an offense that's just that the entire league is pretty much figured out and it's game plan, and it's easy to game plan against. It's too predictable, and something needs to change. And at the end of the day, reality just set in, and the reality is that this is not a Super Bowl contending team. Not with a head coach that comes out there game planning and coaching scared majority of the time. This offense stinks. The play call is predictable and boring. Special teams has been awful for a long time now. We're out there with no real punt returner. We're out there with Brandon McManus, who has been injured the last couple weeks, missing a couple of kicks in games that we lost. I mean, if you want to see bad coaching, all you have to do is look at our special teams. You have a healthy kicker that went 10 for 10 when he was playing those 2 games with Brandon McManus out. Why not just continue using them until Brandon McManus is fully healed? I don't get it. Like, those are it's little things like that you just can't figure out why they're doing what they're doing. But because they do it the way they do it, is why they're now 5-3-1. So that's just it, man. There's nothing more to talk about. I mean, the defense. The defense, for the most part, the defense has been playing well this season. So it's not really whole lot of bad things you can say. And I'm not looking for something bad to say about them. Either I do think that the pass rush still can be a little better than what it is. Ultimately, the defense is not the problem. Again, they held the Eagles to 10 points. I would like to see the defense get off the field a little bit more when the game is on the line, which they were unable to do against the Panthers. And I think the Panthers, and I think the Browns as well, both those games that we lost, and even against the Cowboys. But ultimately, I don't look at the defense and say, "Oh, these guys are the reason why we can't win these football games." No, at the end of the day, it's Matt LaFleur. It's Matt LaFleur and the offense. It's the reason why the Packers have lost 2 straight now. It's the reason why this offense has not been able to click and get any consistent rhythm week after week. It's the reason why they come out there and just look completely dead and lost, and like they don't know how to play football every Sunday. And it's the reason why they will never win a championship like this. That's ultimately the reason. If Matt LaFleur gets fired, I can care less. I can care less because I really cannot take another loss like this under him. I can't. 10 weeks into the season and you just come out there just. How many times do we have to keep going through this? How many times do we have to keep going through this and keep seeing this team look so unprepared every week? Enough is enough. Enough is enough. So, from this moving forward, Matt LaFleur, he's gonna have to start. He's gonna have to coach this team like his job depends on it. Otherwise, you can pretty much count him being gone at the end of the season. And if that happens, then, oh well, good riddance. Because at the end of the day, I don't trust that we're going to ever win a championship under this guy. But until then, we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. I'm out of here.